How many times have you woken up feeling like you didn't have the strength to face the day? Moses also had his moments of doubt, fear, and insecurity, but it was in the middle of the desert, when everything seemed silent, that he was surprised by the presence of God. And there, in that unexpected encounter, his story began to change. Because when you acknowledge your weakness and sincerely say, "Lord, I need you," heaven opens. And what happens after that can transform everything inside of you. He said goodbye to his insecurities and surrendered to the greater purpose God had for him. Just like Moses, you too can find a sacred space to connect with the Creator and recognize your dependence on Him. In Psalms, the Word reminds us, "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble." This verse calls us to understand that in the midst of daily challenges, we are not alone. Like Moses, we are invited to set aside our doubts and surrender to God's will, which is always good, perfect, and pleasing. Have you ever stopped to think about how many times your own struggles have distanced you from the certainty that God is always by your side? Life can seem overwhelming, like an endless desert, but it is in that very desert that God reveals Himself. He is not limited to moments of joy. He is the God who walks with us through tribulations, who lifts us when we are down, and who gives us strength when ours runs out. Total surrender to God is the first step to experiencing true peace, the kind that doesn't depend on circumstances. Do you feel this invitation in your heart? As you open yourself to this deep connection, you discover that every morning brings the opportunity to begin again, to realign with the divine purpose. And just like Moses, who left behind his former life to fulfill a calling, you are also being called to set aside your limitations and open yourself to the transformation that comes from God. This is the moment to reflect on your needs and to recognize that when you confess, "God, I need you," you are positioning yourself to receive what He has already prepared for you. Allow yourself to feel that sense of expectation and the certainty that when you seek God, you don't just find a refuge, you find renewed strength to face whatever lies ahead. May this morning be an invitation for you to draw closer to the divine light, ready to receive everything that God has to offer. How many times have you felt lost in the midst of life's chaos? The routine, with its demands and pressures, can be overwhelming, leaving a weight on your chest that feels unbearable. In moments like these, it's natural to ask, where is the strength that used to guide me? The feeling of fragility can come with overwhelming intensity, as if hope is dissipating in a whirlwind of doubts and insecurities. Have you ever stopped to consider that this internal struggle is part of the human journey? Each of us carries a silent pain, a longing for answers that often seem distant. Sometimes the world around us screams, while inside there is a silent cry echoing. The battle between wanting to believe in something greater and the discouragement that reality brings can be crushing. You find yourself fighting against thoughts that insist you're not enough, that everything around you is a reflection of your failures. This invisible exhaustion that builds up over time can leave deep marks on the soul, creating a gap between what you feel and what you wish you could feel. It's a conflict many face but rarely talk about, as if there's a taboo surrounding the vulnerability that follows us. And if, for a moment, you allowed yourself to feel, what happens when we open our hearts to the anguish that lives within us? It may be a solitary journey, but it's also a path to self-discovery. Your pain, your struggle has a place in this world, and it's important to recognize that you don't have to carry it all alone. When you're on the edge of despair, it's easy to lose sight of hope and the light that can still shine through the darkness. Have you ever wondered if by looking inward, rather than seeking external explanations, you might find an echo of understanding? Sometimes the answers we long for are hidden in the shadows of our deepest emotions. What you feel is real and valid. This search, as difficult as it may be, is an invitation to a more sincere encounter with yourself, and perhaps with something greater. As this reflection unfolds, allow yourself to imagine that there is a strength that sees your battles, and that in the silence of your pain, it may be ready to reveal itself in a surprising way. God knows every one of your thoughts and feelings. He is not distant or unaware of your struggles. In Psalms, we find the promise that He is a safe refuge and a very present help in trouble. This truth invites us to look within and realize that even in the darkest hours, He is by our side, ready to receive and strengthen us. In Isaiah, we read, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers they shall not overwhelm you." This is a powerful reminder that even in life's storms, the divine presence is the anchor that keeps us steady. These words are not just promises, they are invitations for you to draw near to Him and allow His light to illuminate the areas of your life that need healing and renewal. The vulnerability you feel is a sacred space where God's presence can act. When you open your heart, you begin to experience a relief that only He can bring. Just as the sun rises every morning, bringing new opportunities, each new day is a reminder that God's compassion is being renewed in your life. Lamentations teaches us that the Lord's mercies are the reason we are not consumed, because His compassions never fail. Reflecting on these truths, we come to understand that surrendering to God is not a sign of weakness, it is an act of courage. And it is through this act that you find the strength to face your challenges. The fragility you perceive can be transformed into a testimony of faith, and every step taken toward Him is a step toward restoration. He does not promise that the journey will be easy, but He guarantees that His presence will transform your walk. In this moment, you may still feel pain, but remember that you are not defined by your struggles. God is working in you, even when the road ahead seems unclear. He is the God who restores, who heals, and who brings peace in the midst of chaos. When you choose to trust in Him, the shadow of uncertainty begins to fade, revealing a path lit by hope. God's presence is a beacon in your life, guiding you even through the darkest nights. As you prepare for the next step, remember that every struggle is an opportunity to experience the depth of divine love. You are being led back to the light, where transformation begins to take place. The journey is not over yet, but the promise of God's presence is what can change everything. Not everyone is ready to embrace the answer that God offers us in times of anguish. Human resistance reveals itself in many forms, often disguised in daily worries or in the distractions imposed by modern life. Ignoring the divine call is not an isolated act. It is a detour that can lead us down dark paths where the light of truth grows increasingly distant. When we close our hearts to God's voice, a series of internal consequences begins to unfold. The peace He offers slips away, giving place to an emptiness that we often try to fill with fleeting things. The soul, in resisting the truth, starts to feel heavy, as if followed by an invisible burden. Feelings of anxiety and insecurity may intensify, and the hope that once sustained us seems to fade, leaving behind a trail of doubt about our journey. It is a subtle process, where small steps of distancing accumulate until the gap becomes tangible. Often, these detours begin with small compromises, a commitment here, a choice there, and soon we find ourselves far from the path God had prepared for us. The routine and daily challenges can distract us from hearing the gentle voice of the Spirit, and lack of attention can lead us away from our divine purpose. Reflecting on our walk leads us to ask, what is the cost of ignoring the wisdom God offers us? Are we willing to accept the peace that comes from His presence, or do we prefer to keep carrying the burdens we created ourselves? These questions invite us into a moment of introspection, where we can evaluate the direction we are taking. Resistance can lead us to a state of discouragement and uncertainty, but recognizing this reality is the first step toward transformation. What is keeping us from opening our hearts to true divine direction? In this moment, the spiritual tension becomes evident. The choice is before us, to continue resisting or to seek the surrender that will lead us to a place of renewal and hope. The path is presented, and it is up to us to decide how we will proceed. In the midst of the whirlwind of thoughts and feelings that surround us, it's natural to feel vulnerable and overwhelmed. Allow yourself, in this moment, to acknowledge the fragility that permeates your soul. There is no shame in admitting that the struggle is often intense and that the weight of worries feels unbearable. This is a safe space, a refuge where you can be honest with yourself. Have you ever considered how resistance can become a wall between you and the serenity you long for? The distractions of everyday life, external pressures, and even internal insecurities can pull us away from our true purpose. It's understandable that, in the midst of it all, surrender might seem like a difficult step. But it is exactly in this act of opening yourself that true transformation lies. I want to invite you to take a step toward that surrender. Picture yourself as a child who, feeling afraid, runs into the arms of a loving father. That surrender is not a sign of weakness. It is a gesture of courage and trust. By opening your heart and acknowledging that you need help, you are inviting God's presence into your life, bringing peace and renewal. Allow yourself to reflect on what it truly means for you to let go of control and trust fully. This is an invitation to surrender to the one who knows your essence, understands your battles, and desires to walk beside you. This choice, though intimate and quiet, is powerful. By deciding to welcome this divine presence, you open yourself to a new horizon where the peace that once seemed so distant can finally make itself known. Now, as you feel this gentle calling in your heart, begin to prepare for a moment of stillness. Feel the urgency of this invitation, not as pressure but as an opportunity for renewal. What you are about to experience may be a turning point in your journey. This is the moment to leave behind the chains that have bound you and embrace the freedom that comes from surrender. We are about to enter this sacred space of prayer and connection. May this moment remind you that you are not alone. Surrender is the first step toward the transformation your soul longs for. Breathe deeply and feel the gentleness of this calling. The day begins, and in this very moment, I invite you to allow silence to embrace your heart. It is a gentle calling, a pause that echoes in the soul, where each breath becomes an invitation to reflect. As you prepare for this sacred moment, recognize that this is not merely about words, but about offering your being to something greater. In this space of introspection, allow yourself to feel the lightness of the divine presence. It is a moment of opening up, of unveiling the layers that so often hide your essence. Here you can lay aside the worries that so frequently surround you, allowing serenity to take hold of your mind and heart. As you withdraw into stillness, sense that this is a time of listening. Life can be tumultuous, but in this instant, you connect to the truth that you are not alone. Every thought, every emotion, everything you carry within is seen and embraced. Surrender is a gesture of trust, like a child approaching a father, seeking security and love. As you open yourself to this experience, remember that vulnerability is a bridge that connects us to the divine. It is in this safe space that you can shed the armor life has placed upon you, allowing light to reach the deepest parts of your being. Here, words are not just sounds, they become the echo of your most intimate longing for renewal and peace. Feel the beating of your heart and the lightness of your being. Each beat is a declaration of life, a reminder that you are loved, wanted, and worthy of attention. In this moment, surrender is not an act of weakness, but of courage, a step toward what truly matters. What is about to happen is an invitation to go deeper into this connection. Your soul longs for this encounter, for this chance to surrender to eternal truths. Let this quiet moment prepare your heart for an intimate dialogue. With this openness, you will approach what comes next, ready for a transformative experience. Lord, in this moment I come before you with an open heart, acknowledging everything I carry within me. I carry doubts that consume me, fears that paralyze me, and shame that refuses to let go. I come to you in an act of surrender, placing before you each of these burdens that have weighed heavily upon my soul. I can no longer bear them alone, and so I lay before you my insecurities, the lack of faith that often invades me, and the resistance that keeps me from moving forward. Even while feeling this fragility, Lord, I confess that I trust in you. I trust in your love, which is greater than any pain I may feel. Even in the midst of the internal storm, I know that you are the anchor that keeps me grounded when my strength fades. It's difficult, I know, but in this act of surrender, I choose to believe that your presence is enough to sustain me. I don't seek guarantees or immediate answers. I come to you in faith, giving up control, letting go of the certainties that imprison me, and the desire to manage everything on my own. I am here, Lord, because I believe that surrender is the first step toward the transformation I long for. In this moment, I place my life in your hands, recognizing that only in you can I find true peace and rest. I believe that every tear, every moment of despair is an opportunity to draw closer to you. And as I open my heart to this surrender, I know there is more waiting to be revealed. Let emotional healing begin to flow from this very instant. May I feel your presence surrounding me and restoring every part of me that has been wounded. I am ready to continue this conversation, to explore all that is necessary for my soul to find relief and renewal. I remain here, Lord, with my heart wide open, surrendering to you the most fragile parts of my soul. I acknowledge that there are wounds in need of your light, places I've hidden even from myself. Today I come before you, asking that your presence embrace those painful places where tears have turned to silence and fear has settled in like a constant shadow. I cry out for healing, Lord, not only from physical pain but from the emotional scars I've carried for so long. You know the memories that still haunt me, the insecurities that make me hesitate, and the sorrow that, at times, feels unbearable. Lord, touch these wounds, the ones I've buried beneath layers of bravery and indifference. Let the balm of your love soak into each one of them, bringing relief and renewal. I ask you, Lord, let healing begin to flow in my life. May I feel your presence gently restoring the broken pieces of my being. Look into the places that make me feel insignificant and weak. Look into the emotions that have become heavy and difficult to carry. Touch the moments of deep sorrow and the memories that still hurt and pour your comfort into each one. May I find in you the security I need to expose these wounds, knowing that in your arms I can be vulnerable. May I not fear revealing my weakness, for I know that in you I find a safe refuge. I long for your presence to become a home for every part of me that needs restoration. Let your love fill every empty space, every insecurity, every lingering doubt. Lord, more than answers, I seek to feel your touch. May your peace, which surpasses all understanding, be established in my heart, bringing serenity in the midst of the storm. Help me understand that healing is a process, and that even in my weakness I can find strength in you. Lead me, Lord, so that I may prepare myself for the strengthening that will come. May I be renewed by your grace and truth, and find the courage to keep going. Let me lift my head, knowing that healing has begun and that the best is yet to come. Lord, as I begin to feel the relief that comes from your presence, I acknowledge that my fragility leads me to seek your strength even more. I cry out, Lord, for a strengthening that does not come from myself, but that is born of your love and grace. May the certainty that you are by my side make me stand firm with every step I take today. I need your divine energy. May it clothe me with courage and resilience to face the challenges that lie ahead. May I find in you the support that keeps me standing, even when the struggle feels intense. Help me not to take my eyes off you, not to be carried away by the uncertainties that surround me. I trust that the strength I ask for is the very one that keeps me on the path you have prepared for me. Let me be a reflection of your light, even amid difficulties. Lord, give me the determination I need to resist the distractions that try to pull me away from you. Let me never forget that my strength lies in my dependence on you, not in any ability or resource I may have. Allow me to feel deep in my heart the breath of your life renewing my hope and guiding my decisions. May I be constant in my faith, seeking your support in every moment. I recognize that I am not capable of facing these challenges alone. I need your guidance and protection. Strengthen my spirit, Lord, so that I can persevere in the journey I've committed to walk. Let my life be an expression of gratitude for the strength I receive from you, and may I never forget that my true power comes from your presence. Lead me, O God, so that I may discern your directions. May I be attentive to your calling, ready to follow the path you have traced for me. Let my search for strength today not be an end in itself, but a way to prepare my heart to hear and understand what you desire from me. Lord, I long for your teachings, for insight into how I can walk in your will, firm and focused. May your guidance be clear, and may I follow it with the confidence that comes from knowing I am in your hands. Amen. Lord, as I come to the close of this moment, I thank you deeply for this blessed morning. I thank you for your presence that surrounds me and strengthens me, for every word that echoed in my heart, bringing renewal and hope. As I surrender my weaknesses to you, I feel the lightness of knowing that I am not alone, because your light shines within me, guiding me through the challenges that life may bring. Today, I recognize the importance of surrender, of listening, and of trust. I feel strengthened knowing that in seeking your will, I am aligned with the purpose you have prepared for me. The healing I've found in you fills me with gratitude, and the certainty that you are my unshakable support brings peace to my soul. I offer this prayer with an open heart, desiring to be an instrument of your love and peace, not only for myself but for everyone who crosses my path. Now, as I begin this day, I let go of any burden that could keep me from walking with courage and faith. I am ready to face the challenges ahead, confident that your hand will guide me each step of the way. May I be a reflection of your light, bringing hope and joy to those around me. And so I invite you, my dear listener, to share in this experience. If this prayer has touched your heart, remember that there are many around us who also need to feel the peace of God. Share this moment with someone who is seeking comfort and renewal. Leave a comment below sharing what God spoke to your heart. Your experience may be the light that illuminates someone else's path. Subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so we can continue this walk together, one of prayer and faith, always seeking the divine presence that sustains us. May your morning be filled with blessings, and may the certainty that God is with you accompany you every step of the way. With a heart full of gratitude, I say goodbye, wishing you a blessed day where the peace and light of God guide your journey. Amen.